we should agree on 3 of them to do our FMK with.
I think Cecil kind of has to be in there. I think, therefore, by extension, Kane should be in there.
We could end with the 3 guys in the party at the end of the game, which would be Cecil, Kane, and Edge. But part of me also really wants Rubicant to be in there. Let's narrow that group of 4 down to 3. Cecil, Kane, Rubicant, Edge. Who should we cut from that group?
Honestly, I feel like Rubicant is sort of secretly the queerest character in the game. So I think Rubicant.
Cut him?
No, oh, sorry, include Rubicant.
Oh, okay. So cut Edge, which is fine with me because he would have been an easy kill for me because he's so annoying.
Also an easy pun. Cut Edge. Cut
There you go. Cecil, Kane, Rubicant, FMK. We're not going to say those words on this video, but let's rename those 3 things. Yeah, Smash, Marry, Pass. First off, who's your Smash?
I think my Smash is Kane.
I think my Smash is Rubicant.
I think my Smash is Kane because I think he is broody and dark enough to be interesting in that.
My Smash is Rubicant just because he is evil. So I don't know if I'd want to spend a lot of time with him, but I don't want to kill him. I mean, look at that leg. I want to get with that. So it's Smash.
My Mary is Rubicant.
Mine is probably Cecil, which I'm not super happy about, but he's not a kill for me. He probably would be a really good partner, I think. I think he's supportive.
I think he'd be a good partner, but he'd be a more boring partner. And with Rubicant, it's the sort of marriage where some days you have a whole lot of fun in the kitchen together. Other days you are saving Rubicant from his latest mistake.
And so that leaves our kill as Cecil for you and Kane for me, which is a shame. I don't really want to pass on Kane because I think he's actually quite bi-coded in the game, but I don't really want to marry him because he's too brooding.
I said pass to Cecil just because I find him to be kind of a bland every hero. And also, let's be real, he's kind of the most hetero of the bunch.
He's very much a soft, pretty boy.
He is in the same way that, like, most protagonists in Final Fantasy are soft, pretty boys.
What about you, viewer? Who's your Smash, Marry, Pass in this trio? Let us know in the comments.
Bloop boop boo. Bloop doop doo. Bloop doop da.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Rameen.
Welcome to Pride 2026. Pride is a party, but Pride is also revolution. Being queer on main here. Not that we are ever not being queer on main, but... So today we're going through FMK, but we're calling it Smash, Marry, Pass with Final Fantasy games. We're picking 3 characters from each game.
SMP 500. Pride is not about corporation.
Right. Final Fantasy V, smaller list.
In my research before we did this video, I was looking through, and of the early Final Fantasy games on our list, this one was actually the hardest for me, looking at the cast. Even to think of, like, which characters do I remember enough about to even talk about?
Yeah, I only thought of 4 that are anything even remotely interesting, and one of them's only remotely interesting because he's the protagonist. So I think of Bartz, Exdeath, Galuf, and Gilgamesh. Who should we not include?
See, my gut tells me Bart's actually, because I don't know if it's just a sprite, but he always reads really young to me.
Okay, so that's another thing we should talk about in this. Sort of like if you've been watching my Final Fantasy Tomodachi Life, we're assuming all the characters are of legal age. This is some time after the story, and everyone's aged up a little bit.
In that case, I would say Exdeath.
I think both Bartz and Exdeath are good candidates to cut from our top 3 because they're both pretty boring. But I think, yeah, we should cut Exdeath and keep the protagonist in. Bartz, Galuf, Gilgamesh, Smash, Marry, Pass. I'll go first with Smash. Smash Gilgamesh.
You know, Gilgamesh even sounds like Smash, so...
He would be kind of annoying, probably, but he'd be fun.
See, I was thinking Smash Galuf just because I feel like he's probably in the best shape of his life.
I mean, he is canonically 60
Yeah,
in
but
the
he's,
game.
like, fit too.
Yeah.
He's stacked in all the arc.
I'm gonna go marry Galuf. I think sort of like with marrying Cecil, he would be like dependable and reliable, and we know that Galuf actually like is open about his feelings.
I actually think I'd marry Bartz. I think that Bartz is well traveled enough and curious enough that you could have, again, an adventuresome. Maybe that's going to be a theme of all my marries, an adventuresome marriage.
But would Bartz just leave you behind and go on his own adventures?
Gilgamesh would probably do the same.
Yeah.
My pass is Gilgamesh, I think.
And my pass is Bartz, just because he's so dull and so unwilling to talk about anything. That's a big red flag for me.
See, to me, Gilgamesh almost talks too much.
And I didn't include all of the characters because I don't think either of us would be, even aged up, I don't think either of us would be interested in Gao, for example.
Yeah. I think Locke for sure has to be on the final three.
I'm thinking Locke, Sabin, maybe Leo, but that's tough because they're all marries for me.
What about Shadow instead of Leo?
Sure. Okay, Locke, Sabin, Shadow.
Smash. Sabin, I think. Smash Sabin.
Smash Locke for me. I think he would be a good partner once he figures his shit out, because it takes him a while to get there, but not as good as who I want to marry.
My marry is Locke, actually.
My marry is Sabin. I think he'd be perfect. He's a good-natured doofus who really cares.
I can agree to disagree as long as we both can agree. No one likes Shadow.
Though he's like a cool character, he's got too many hang-ups. Sorry, I'm passing on that.
Yeah, he might be homophobic. I mean,
You never know, yeah.
you know, I mean, he doesn't talk much. Like, what's he hiding?
And part of me is almost thinking that we should do one list of 3 heroes and one list of 3 villains. Or we can just cut it down to 3 total.
No, I think 3 total. Here's why. When you really look at the villains, many of them are such flat characters that, like, they're kind of auto passes for me. Like Heidegger,
Yeah, Heidegger's definitely an auto pass. But I think that's part of what makes the traditional FMK game fun, because like sometimes you're given 3 characters that you don't like, but you have to marry one of them. 3 heroes, we should include Barrett, Sid, Cloud, unless you want to include Vincent for one of them. I think Barrett, Sid, Cloud makes more sense. My smash is Cloud, mainly because I don't dislike him, but I don't want to spend that much time with him.
I think my smash is Barrett, actually. I think my smash is Barrett.
And my marry is Barrett.
See, I was torn between him or Cloud for my marry.
Barrett, though he is volatile, you know what he's thinking and feeling. He's not hiding anything from you.
And he is a family man. I mean,
And he's a family man, yeah.
I think my marry is Cloud. I almost changed my mind. He has enough to talk about that I think we could get along after he went to a lot of therapy.
A lot of therapy, yeah.
But you could really say that for just about anybody in this cast.
Sid's still a pass for me, either way.
Yeah, he's too into his mechanics and... You know.
And he's a jerk. I don't want to spend time with him. Okay, villains. We should include Sephiroth.
To me, the villains list should be... Oh, Sephiroth, Sang, and Reno, maybe?
I was also thinking maybe switching in Dine for Reno. But Sephiroth, Tsung, and... Oh no, it should be Hojo. Even though we don't want it, I think we have to include Hojo as one of these options. Sephiroth, Tsung, Hojo.
Okay.
The smash for me is Sephiroth.
Yeah, I agree. The smash is Sephiroth. I mean, how many gay gamers had their first awakening seeing all of the, like, fan art and in-game art of Sephiroth shirtless?
Tsung is my marry. He's actually a good guy.
Yeah.
Deep down, yeah. And
Read all accounts.
don't want anything to do with Hojo.
Yeah, yep. I mean, Squall for sure needs to be included.
Yeah. Actually, we could do present day cast and past cast. So Squall, Irvine, Zell.
I don't know about that, only because the past cast is such a short list that it's basically each list is such a short list.
So yeah, we do Squall, Irvine Zell, and Laguna, Kiros, Ward as our 2 for this one. So present day cast, Squall, Irvine, Zell. This is tough because I don't really like any of them.
Well, then maybe we should start with pass.
Yeah. So who's the pass?
To me, the pass is Irvine because he's too into women. Like,
I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not also into men. And this is headcanon anyway. Like, we're assuming that they're all available and interested in you.
okay, then let me rephrase it another way. Given how he treats women, I can't imagine he would treat men he's interested in any better.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I would probably say the same thing. But then that means I can't pass on the other 2. So who's the smash then?
To me, the smash is Zell because his, how do I put this nicely? His intellectual life is paper thin. I don't think I have much to talk about with him.
I don't think I could tolerate the constant puppy dog energy. So I think I agree with you there. He's the smash, which means that Squall is the Mary for both of us. That would be tough, but given the options, I think it's the best.
Well, hear me out, right? Squall is a lot and annoying in the game, but marriage is till death do you part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that the game is pointing to a future, maybe years from now, when Squall actually is like mature and empathic and not a total douche.
Yeah, I think you're probably
putting
right.
it lightly.
I think you're probably right, yeah. Okay, Laguna, Kiros, Ward.
I think Smash Ward for me. No, wait. I had them mixed up in my brain. Sorry. Smash Kiros for me.
I'm going to say the same thing. Like, I like all 3 of these guys, and I think they would be, like, good Mary options. But if I have to pick, I'm going to say a Smash Kiros, yeah. Who are you marrying, though?
I think Laguna.
I was going to say...
It's really tough, though. Like, when I say pass to Ward, that's going to be tough. But yeah, I think Laguna's just got enough goofy charm that, you know, far into the future when both of you are bedridden, at least he'll keep making you laugh.
Yeah. No, I think that's the right choice. And, like, while I passed on Zell because of his puppy dog... Wait, no. I smashed Zell and didn't want to marry Zell because of his puppy dog energy. Laguna, I think, is also dog-coded, but he's like the goofy, loyal golden retriever. I'm curious to see what everyone else is saying in the comments about any of these.
This one's going to be tough for me. I like many of the characters in this game, but they are not generally the men.
Same. If we were doing this with women, like, Freya would be the Mary for sure. But since we're going with all the men, who do we want to include? Using our logic that we did before, I think we have to include Zidane.
I also think we have to include Kuja.
I was going to say that too.
Fantasy characters all the time.
Zidane and Kuja, but who's our third? Amarant or Steiner? Steiner, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, Zidane, Kuja, Steiner. My smash is Kuja, for the same reason that many of my villains have been smashes. Too evil to be with all the time. But it'd be fun.
Yes, mine is also Kuja for very similar reasons.
But then Mary, I don't know whether I want to marry Steiner or Zidane. I guess...
Me, easy choice.
What's your choice?
Steiner, for sure.
I was leaning more towards Zidane.
Steiner is overbearing, but I prefer that to Zidane's chaotic and, like, sometimes disrespectful energy. I think it would get on my nerves too quickly.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are good Mary options, but I think of the 3, probably I would go for Zidane. One thing that really is a big green flag for me is curiosity, and I feel like Steiner doesn't really have that same curiosity that Zidane does. Steiner's more set in his ways, and though he, like, eventually will branch out and try something, it'll take a lot more work to get him there. And I feel like if I say, hey, Zidane, do you want to go to the art museum today? He'd be like, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Did you say Final Fantasy X?
Okay, so we have to include Titus. I will not say Titus. Who else should we include?
I say Waka.
Titus Walker Seymour or Titus Walker Oren?
Yeah, that was kind of what I was torn between. Again, it's hard not to include Seymour because one of the queerest Final Fantasy
Yeah.
of all time. So
Okay, Titus Walker Seymour.
smash Seymour, I think.
I was gonna say the same thing.
He has a mystique about him, a
Go ahead.
really fabulous fashion sense, and a true dedication to hair care.
Yes. But I don't think I could tolerate how self-involved he is. Not, at least not for long. But then the Mary. This is tough because I think both Titus and Waka have things that they could work on that would make them good marriage partners. And we know that Waka is in a happy marriage in X2.
I think the issue for me is Waka's bigotry, so I gotta go with marriage for Titus.
Yeah, that's the issue that he would need to work on for me. So I think I'm going to agree with you though. Marry Titus, pass on Waka.
And the good news is if you aren't enjoying the marriage with Titus, he's not gonna stay around for long.
Yeah, he doesn't actually exist. He never did.
Much like any successful marriage, Titus is a dream.
What 3 are we going to pick from 12? I did not include Vaughn. Because even though I just said that, like, we're assuming that it's years later and they're of legal marriage age.
He's just such a caricature of childishness that,
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to
even if
think
you tell
past.
me that, like, no,
Yeah.
fuck you. Vaughn is a kid. I don't care.
Yeah.
What you
He's the type of person that even if he were 45, he would still act like that probably. I'm like,
yeah.
you're 45, you're not a child. Balthier, Bosch, Sid, Vane.
Oh, that's tough. I like all of them.
I think Balthier and Bosch, but then do we want to include Sid or Vane?
Vane. I think Vane's too important to not include. Mash Balthier. He's just got that Han Solo energy that I love.
Yeah. I was thinking for a minute Smash Vane because he has really pretty hair. But I think I'm going to agree with you and say Smash Balthier. He's charming, but I would wonder who's he going to charm next the whole time, so that's not marriage for me.
My Mary might surprise some people. Hot take. Tell us what you think in the comments. Engage. But I would marry Vane. He is a good combination of ambitious and efficient.
Yeah.
If y'all want to buy that house together, he will figure out a financial plan that will work. His credit is probably really good.
I think I would marry Bosch, which probably wouldn't be my first choice for marry on this list, obviously, but once he gets over himself and his, like, depression, he would probably be a very steadfast, loyal, and supportive partner.
See, you say steadfast. To me, I find him boring, which is not the same as steadfast, right? But they're kind of adjacent to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that although that stability probably would be good long term, I would get bored with it too easily.
Which means then I would pass on Vane. Which is too bad because he would also be a smash.
Yeah, honestly, all the guys in that game, besides Vaughn, are kind of hot.
Yeah, they're all very
Even when you're
smashable.
talking about Sid, in most of the other games, when you say Sid, I'm like, oh, auto pass. Like, obviously, I'm not talking about Final Fantasy VIII Sid. Like, no.
Right.
But then I think of this Sid, and I'm like, why is he both the mad scientist and kind of sexy?
I was considering including some other characters like Vossler and Redis, who are such minor characters overall, but like they're also both kind of hot. All right, so that brings us to you. What are your lists of Smash, Marry, Pass from all of these Final Fantasy games? Let us know in the comments, or if we should have included a different list of characters, let us know about that too. Thanks so much for watching. Give this video a like if you liked it. Give it a pity like if you didn't like it. Up here is a link to last year's Pride video where we talked about our earliest crushes up to 1993. Down here is a playlist of other miscellaneous videos. We mostly do reviews and rankings and things like that on this channel, but every once in a while we do a fun one like this. So, happy Pride, keep up the good fight, and maintain your groovy selves.
We love y'all.